Yo fam, this is Haas, trying something a little different here, sort of an enhanced interview segment kind of thing. I'll be back at the end when I'll play the full theme song I made for Mr. R.M. Brown, the subject of this episode, which is a thing I do, make a theme song for every Breadsheet guest on their first appearance. But for now, enjoy some clips of the funniest YouTuber, R.M. Brown, dishing on his influences, his creative rivals, and his soundboard. Say, the YouTube algorithm supposedly likes it most when people watch to the very end of a video, so the very last image in this video is going to be a naked lady, so stick around till the very end to see that. Alrighty, we'll begin with a short clip from a classic video by Mr. R.M. Brown.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up?
Hey, what up, nuts?
You're terrible.
Hey, guys, welcome back. It's Monday. I hope that you all know that.
You're terrible. You're terrible.
It's funny too, as you know, I grew up listening to like 90s like trash talk radio, like sports talk radio and stuff like that. And like what's funny is that you do see some similarities. Like I haven't watched a ton of Hassan Piker stuff, but somebody did send me a clip of, because we were talking about this kind of like history repeating itself with talk radio, of him like sort of like fighting with his audience. And I was like, God damn, that is the kind of talk radio that I listened to growing up in the 90s. What made it interesting is like just people just
some of you cannot fucking comprehend what is happening and what I'm saying. So you, in your fucking infant brain, literally get whipped up into a frenzy. Dumbass!
Like there were two different versions that I grew up with. There was a guy named Neil Rogers, who I've talked about, who was really interesting because he was a openly gay sports talk radio personality. So he was like this openly gay guy in a world that was like kind of hostile to that, like in the 90s, but he still like everybody loved him. He was like the god of like, you know, the part of the country that I lived in. But his whole thing was just being ruthlessly mean to his audience. Like he just wouldn't take any of their bull crap.
In Miami, hello.
You know, you're brilliant as always.
Oh yeah, it really takes a genius to figure this out.
No, but I'm going to have to differ with you.
Oh, are you? Am I wrong about that? Was there a year zero?
They call the year 01. They call the year 01.
They called year one. How can there be a year zero? Stop and think about it. How can there be a year zero?
Well, that's why they didn't call it 0. They called it 1, but it was actually 0.
You keep throwing a 0 in there.
Okay, then before there was recorded time, there was just time, correct? Hundreds of thousands of years.
That's like asking me if a bear, you know, in the woods, will somebody step in it? You know, I mean, what
no,
is
obviously.
That? Please, trust me.
All right, I trust you.
Okay.
Bye.
I must sit on the floor for a half hour and meditate. I'm serious.
He was just tired of it. He was over it. He like, that was his thing.
Neil, have you missed this radio stuff?
If you had a tumor the size of a watermelon on your ass, would you miss it?
And then there was another guy who still does a show called Phil Hendry, who would do fake voices, which is where I stole the doing voices thing from on the podcast.
But how did you even become Swamp Thing in the first? How did you get all this crap all over you in the first place?
Another great question, man. You're doing great. Hold on. Can you hear me better now?
No, I just hear reverb now.
Okay. In other words, yes, it does sound better.
He would do fake voices, and the fake voices would always be saying some horrible, like he would do like he did a character who was a guy who was like a citizens police officer. So like he wasn't really a real police officer. He was like just a guy who would do citizens arrests on people.
Else, that's a felony right there. And then there's another felony too, making, you know, just getting away from me and everything. First of all, you have to understand. Yeah, how come the fake siren?
Yeah, that's what you should say.
I'm on the radio on the Phil Hendry show. Who? I never heard of him.
And people would call in like furious. They were like, if you touch my family, like, you know. So I realized like the things that I like about streamers, like them like fighting with their audience and stuff, it's just talk radio, you know. So I don't know, I just love that it's like history repeating itself in this thing that they, you know, like, oh, like there's this technology of Twitch and all this, and it's this totally new thing. It's basically just a thing that was done for decades, you know, during a time when like, you know, with like AM radio and shit, it's just, I don't know, it's so funny to me. That's the way I would like to do it, as have like a thing that you could actually touch and be doing the, you know, I do it with like a mouse click, but like it would be way cool, because that's like that's the old school talk radio way of doing it, of having this like these buttons that you press and, you know, stupid sounds happen.
You know, the soundboard, that's something I got to say I really appreciate, not to like toot your horn again, but the fact that like, I don't even know if it was really a compliment, just that, like I listen to a Majority Report or whatever, and it's like, obviously they have a bunch of sound drops and they use them so like sparingly, but you know, some might say tastefully. But I've always thought, damn, if I had like a soundboard like that, women be shopping, baby, I would be like using that all the time. And when I first saw your videos, it was like the first person I saw like, that's true, women do shop. Right, this guy knows what's up with the soundboard.
Well, yeah, it's just the same. It's just it's like the Hassan Piker, you know, streamers being like talk radio. Like it's the same, like the talk radio that I listened to, they would do that all the time, and people love that, of like these like these crazy drops, you know.
Then they have the best mother on the whole man.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Mississippi, Governor Tate Reeves.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Hey. Oh.
Party toilets.
At gunpoint. Pendejo.
That's really weird. Wow. Weird.
Good morning. Hey.
Toilets.
What a pervert.
Okay, so then they go on to have the two doctors that this guy, where is he?
Generally speaking, Chinese people look Chinese.
I'm coming around to that. I think that actually might have some
these crazy sound samples. And I don't know. Yeah, I was like, how is somebody not doing, like, this is one of the great things about trash talk radio, is the sort of goofball sound samples. And actually, like Majority Report, when they were on AM radio, when it was Janine Garofalo and Sam Cedar, they kind of started, I think they had it in their heads to like pay some homage to like drive time trash radio. And I think they used to kind of play more samples.
I would like to see the baby.
They used to do more samples, or they would just talk about like, you know, that kind of trash radio. But eventually it just became like, you know, a political talk show, and now it's like what Sam Cedar does now. Mm-hmm. But I was always disappointed in that. I was like, lean into the like trashiness and the like Howard Stern-y, you know, kind of crap. People love that. People love like dumb samples.
He was a totally satanic demon by age 10, reportedly.
Honestly, there's like there's so much, like if you take something out of context, like the one that makes me laugh so hard is Tucker Carlson saying, "That's on YouTube. That's on YouTube."
They had a thing called CPAC, which stands for Conservative Papillomavirus. I honestly don't remember what the PAC stands for. I'm not going to look it up because
that's on YouTube.
Even though I could find it, because
that's on YouTube. That's.
It's like if you just hear him say that in his broadcast or whatever, it means nothing. But if you take it out of context, it's the funniest. It's the funniest goddamn thing I've ever heard, and I can't even explain why. It's just because like in his broadcast, he's probably taking himself seriously. Mm-hmm. If you take that out like and isolate it, it shows how absurd he and it is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's just so much to like playing a sound out of context that like is just hilarious. I don't know. That's something that I probably stole from that same guy, Neil Rogers. So he would play songs. Like there would be like a song, like he had a sound drop that was like "Oi" or something like that, and he would be playing just like a normal song, and he would play the sound drop over it, but like in rhythm with the song. I don't know. I always thought that was funny. So I'm probably just stealing.
We
from
don't
that.
like it. Makes us sick. But I love you. Hope you're having a good time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Pendejo.
Toilets.
Left nut, left nut.
It's me, Haas, back as promised. I wanted to hip my itty-bitty viewer base to Mr. Brown on the off chance that any of y'all freaks haven't discovered him yet. And to any RM heads watching right now, I thought you might like a little real talk about his signature soundboard and sort of drive time radio in purgatory vibe, which is a thing I came up with, and that's a great elevator pitch for his channel, actually. You know, I used to write features for Flagpole Magazine in Athens, Georgia. Great little outfit there. Shout out to Flagpole Magazine. And after doing that for a while, I came to appreciate a good elevator pitch. I don't remember any good ones I came up with, but over the years, I've filed away a couple of perfect ones I've heard before, like Chainsaw Pop to describe Descendants, the original pop punk band. No, not the Ramones. That's kind of its own type of pop punk, in my opinion. But if you've ever heard Descendants, you know that's a perfect description of their music, both the superficial sound of it and the attitude or like ethos of the band. If you've never heard Descendants, what the shit are you doing right now? Go listen to Everything Sucks, the whole album, then branch out to the older and newer stuff from there. Another really good one I've heard is Bubblegum Metal for Andrew WK. Perfect, right? Anyway, please like and subscribe and all that, but more importantly, go subscribe to RM Brown and binge all his stuff. You will not regret it, I promise. If you go back a year or two, the videos are still really good, but you can trace a clear progression of his jokes, his delivery, his editing, his analysis. And I think it really illustrates the unglamorous idea that creating art is not the romanticized, waiting for inspiration to hit, muse, tickling process that many of us picture. Yeah, if you're a 1 in a million genius, like, you might be able to get away with that, but for the rest of us, not that I'm putting myself in the same category as Mr. Brown, I am but a turd among gods. But he makes like 4 to 7 videos a week, and he's been doing this for a couple of years now, so his videos have gotten snappier and funnier and more interesting at an insanely fast rate. And of course, he's very naturally talented, but he also put in the work. So let this be an inspiration to all y'all out there. You can make your thing now. And you can make it a little bit more amazing every day until it's awesome as hail. Hope you like this little bit of bread here, that little bit of bread theme song I made for this episode. Really, I think that one turned out really good. Let me know what you think in the comms, short for comments. Check out my podcast, Breadsheet, for long-form interviews with luminaries of the left. I drop new music every episode, talk a lot about political music and whatnot, and art and cinema to some degree, but, you know, mostly focus on music because that's kind of what I know about. And if you like that idea, talking about political music and stuff, my latest video on this very YouTube channel is a breakdown of a fantastic Pete Seeger song, and I'm going to focus on doing song/lyric breakdowns for the foreseeable future on this channel, specifically songs with political or social or philosophical messages or themes. So if that interests you, give me a sub and all that shiz. I'm Haas_Bossman on Twitter, Instagram, Twit, short for Twitch, and I have a Patreon and stuff. Just check out the description for that. All my stuff is at www.haas.fun for all your Haas needs. I'll see you soon for my next video essay, in which I'll be breaking down and covering the song Giants by 5 Iron Frenzy. And I'm going to close this out with the full theme song I made for RM Brown for his episode Breadsheet. I've got a bunch of these for luminaries of the left. Like I said, I made one for everybody who's been a guest on the show. So I'll play that out to the very end. Then, as promised, the very last thing you will see will be a naked lady. So that's another thing. The fact that I'm saying that doesn't get this video dinged or whatever. And I'll close this little bit of bread out the same way I close every episode of my podcast, Breadsheet, by advising that you flood the soul of every sentient being you encounter with healing light.
Women be shopping.
Hey guys, it's me.
The internet's most perverted video pervert at your service, milady.
Oh man, we got a special one today.
In fact, this is probably one of the more demonic things I think I've ever seen. To quote the great Michael Jackson, a guy who I think we all agree everything was fine with him. You might want to look in that mirror. These are the tropes I know. Donnie Jr. It's knocked out. Larry.
But they're no agents, folks.
These ladies, they're no agents. Calm down. Oh my God. Honey, this is some goose stepping crap. Jesus! With the honey, this is some goose stepping crap. Not to show off, but I'm a Daily Wire member. There's not much you can do about it. Are you gonna try? Sure.
Oh yes, it's ladies night. Feelings right. Oh yes, it's ladies night.
You know, there's a lot of this going on.
Don't show this right.
Women be shopping. Women be shopping. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but I'm conservative, okay? And I believe in 3 things. God, guns, and shooting at God with guns.
Stop looking at my kids, brother. Oh, it's me, John Apatow. It's me, Marty Scorsese, bro. It's me, PTA. Paul Thomas Andreessen, bro.
I heard you've been buying these
Porno cards.
That's on YouTube.